Thank you.
Welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. I bring you tips, advice, and guest stories about creating work you love. Whatever type of career or business you have or want, I want to help you find more meaning, money, and happiness. Now we are live from Hollywood.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. I'm here today with a wonderful guest who I can't wait to introduce you to. And she is going to talk to all of us about stepping into our greatness, which is a beautiful concept, and I can't wait for her to get into that. So I'm going to introduce RJ Jackson, with a little bit of information before we jump into our discussion today. While most people believe that everyone has a story, with over 3 decades of speaking, life coaching, broadcasting, and most importantly, as a leader with real life on the battlefield experiences, RJ's view is radically different. RJ believes that everyone is created to be a success story. Unfortunately, people settle and allow fear to rob them of their greatness. RJ refuses to settle. Not even a diagnosis of a rare eye disease, lupus, or brain injury holds RJ hostage. RJ is known worldwide as the courage giver. She understands that her life's purpose is bigger than the circumstances she faces. Using the world as her stage, she is a living testament of courage, confidence, overcoming, and vision. Unable to talk or walk after a life-threatening accident in 2015, RJ uses her computer to encourage women around the globe until she could grace the stage again. Now, back on stage, barefoot and all, RJ's innate ability to inspire women does more than move them to tears. RJ moves her audience to action by providing them with easy-to-use success strategies designed to move them beyond their fear to live a life of purpose. She's gifted at bringing out the best in people. She's admired for her authentic, down-to-earth, practical, and transparent style. Her fusion of real-life stories, humor, and her conversational techniques connect with her audience at an intimate level and even before she ever steps foot on stage. RJ, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here.
What an honor and what a privilege to be here to remind your audience that there's greatness inside of them. And thank you so much for having me today.
I'm so happy you reached out to me via LinkedIn, and you left me a LinkedIn voice message, which nobody does. And you had the most beautiful voice and such a calming voice. And so, it was lovely. And I'm so glad that we were able to connect. And I think right now is the perfect time to help people to step into their greatness, because it's a crazy time and not everybody is feeling in their greatness. So I think your message has always been important, but is really important with where we are right now. Do you want to tell us a little bit about, your background and where you come from and what brought you to this point today?
Awesome. Well, I want to say again, thank you so much for having me and for taking my voicemail and not considering it spam, but considering it a connection of hearts. And I really believe if we as women would do that more often, we would feel so much better about ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we spend less time comparing ourselves to one another and more time building relationship with one another. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
So about me, that's a great question. People always want to know about me. It's the question I want to know myself. And even as you read in terms of my bio, I am recovering still, believe it or not. It's been 5 years this month. Major accident. And I'm still trying to figure out who am I, because I'm no longer the same. I've changed in so many ways, whether I wanted to or not. I've changed. But here's what I can tell you about me. I am passionate about who I am and helping women understand who they are. And as we talk and share today, I'm going to be authentic because I am authentic. And I'm going to share from my heart and share my story. But honestly, I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to help people, women in particularly, get the results they deserve to live the life they were destined to live. So if they want to know anything about me, Google me. I promise. You'll find me there. If you see me in handcuffs, that's not me. I promise you that wasn't me. But I am the one there helping women get free from their stuff. And I got started a long time ago, 16 years old. I wrote down, here's some things I want to do in life. And I've done 99% and chose not to do the 1%.
I love that. If I can interrupt for just a second, because I'm always talking to people about writing down what it is they want, among other things. You know, I really believe in journaling and writing, but there is so much evidence that what you write down triggers something in your brain that helps to move you forward and toward what you want. And so I love that you wrote that at 16, because there are some very, you know, well-founded studies, Harvard studies, about how the importance of writing things down. And it takes a little extra effort, but boy, it just creates this guidance system, I think, for everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. So from the time you wrote this down, then what?
So let me just share with you that you're not an interruption. This is a great conversation, and I'm already enjoying having it. So I wrote down what I wanted to do. And at first, I never wanted to go to college, but then I had an amazing experience with one of my teachers, which I share in my book that's coming out, my next book called A Repositioned Journey. I'm Still Standing. And because of the encounter with her, I started doing something I thought I was doing, but I never really was doing. And that was believing in myself. You know, I thought I had it down pat. But at the end of the day, the truth was I was scared, I was shy, I was withdrawn, I was reserved. I was everything I didn't need to be the person I wanted to be, and I was destined to be. And I hid behind those things. I hid behind my daddy. Mm-hmm. But that experience allowed me to come out and let my greatness shine. So I went to college. And from there, I went on. I remember applying for my first real job, even though I worked since I was 14. And when I say real job, I mean in the career and the desire I wanted to do. And that was for Head Start. And they denied me. They said, you're too overqualified. You probably will leave us in 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But Head Start finally saw that there was something inside of me that could partner with what their vision, and we could make a match. And from that match, we could make an explosion. And they hired me.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to hear, how did you do something to push that forward, or after they said no?
Funny story happened. So since you asked, I'll make it short and sweet, but it's very powerful. So I went for the interview and they denied me. And then later on that day, my mom's friend came over to the house, and they kind of had just met. So they didn't know a lot about each other's family. But she came over and she said, wow, we had this young lady come today for an interview. She was powerful. And my mom said, well, let me go check. She had me come in the room, and I walked in, and her name was Mrs. Green. Her mouth just fell to the floor. She's like, this is your daughter? Like, oh my goodness. And then she just like, girl, you are powerful. That's how I knew why they wouldn't hire me. She told me. Mm-hmm. And so she says, we're going to get you back. You're coming back. And so they got me back. I got accepted for the job. I started working as a family assistant. And from there, I started teaching and doing classes for women and parents. And that was right up my alley. That's what I was born to do. And I knew it right then. It was all over from there.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So, so you've remade yourself in some ways. As you said, some of it was voluntary on your part and some involuntary. I'd love to hear more about that transition, and both emotionally, psychologically, all the ways that you were able to transform yourself and get through that very difficult period.
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure I would call it a reinventing or transformation. It was growing up. I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
I didn't know what I didn't know, to tell you the truth. And I think that's the case for most of us. We don't know what we don't know. And what we do is we act upon what we know, and what we know is really killing us. But it's all we know, and we're afraid to learn something different, so we keep dying, right?
Wow.
So let me just stop for a second and tell anyone who's listening, you don't have to live where you're dying. And you don't have to die where you're living. There's more to what you don't know that you need to know. And it's people who have been gifted and called and passionate about helping you. There's never a reason to try to do this thing alone. And so to continue answering your question, in that space, it was new for me, but I found mentors. And mentors and coaches and accountability partners are essential for life, especially today. They're essential to keep you breathing and living and giving out of your greatness. And I found mentors right there. The one, Mrs. Green, she became like my second mom. And I learned so much about myself and so much from her on how to do what I was created to do. And so Head Start has been my foundation, but the world has been my stage, Michelle.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, what are your feelings about people settling? And I think that's sort of where you were just going with this, and that people don't know what they don't know, and so they do what they do know, which doesn't really, that's not living into your greatness necessarily. So that's living into everyone else's ideas of who you are and what you should be doing. So when you talk about living in your greatness, it sounds so good, but when you break it down, what does it mean?
Well, one of the things, to start with the first question you had about settling, we settle when we live with what we know. We're settling because we know what someone has told us. You should do this, you should do that. Oh, you would be good at this, or you would be good at that. We live with our past experiences, pain, hurt, rejection, shame, fear. And because we decide to live with those things because they're comfortable, right? They're comfortable, we settle. Yeah. And when we settle, we're not being the best version of ourselves that we can be. So to live out of your greatness, the first thing you got to do is forget about what you know. Yeah. Because whatever happened, it happened, it's over, it's done. It only lives because we give it life. Good or bad.
Right.
If I won an award 5 years ago, I could live my life up. I won the most prestigious award. Well, that's over, girl. Now somebody else is getting that award, right?
Yeah. That's a really good lesson, because you always see the people, there are always those people from high school who were so amazing. They peaked in high school, and then, later on their lives just, it's kind of sad, actually. I know some of them, and there's no reason for that, but I think you're right. The focus is on that particular event or award or whatever it is, and it kind of stays the focus. So, yeah.
Or perhaps the focus was on pleasing their parents.
Right.
Or showing their peers that they could keep the game up, even though they didn't even want to play the game. But they started, and now they got to keep it up, because that's what people know them by. Forget what people know you by. Reinvent. Come out as who you are, who you really are, who you want to be, not what you're afraid that people are going to think or say or do because it doesn't line up with who they think you should be. Listen, Linda, and write this one down. Those very same people, they aren't who they're wanting to be. They're hiding behind their shame, their fear, their guilt, their insecurities. And then they're just trying to throw up all over you to make you feel bad. And that's when we don't live out of our greatness. We live out of our greatness when we are the best that we can be. When we do better today than we did yesterday, not comparing ourselves to anyone else, but ourselves, our purpose, our destiny, that's greatness. Because then we take that and we give it away. And then it becomes true greatness.
Yeah, so much there, because it is difficult when a lot of people are telling you what you should do, for example, to get inside of yourself and really know, I mean, you can sort of have an intuitive feeling, it just doesn't feel right for me, but to really push through that and say, no, I know who I am and what would be better for me. It's a little tricky. I mean, you have to, I think that's where the mentors and the support people come in too, to reinforce that your ideas are valid, but it's not easy.
No. If it were easy, everybody would be living it. It takes work, it takes commitment, consistency, and dedication. Nowadays you hear, hey, if you want to be popular on social media, it takes consistency, it takes work, it takes discipline, it takes dedication. And so many people invest in that versus invest in that same time into themselves, so that whether they're social media or not, you're still standing and you're on a journey of greatness.
And you sound so confident, and you sounded like you were confident early on. Is that accurate, or did you have to somehow learn to be more confident?
Yes, right. Let me tell you something. I was the girl who wasn't going anywhere without my daddy. You hear me? Like nowhere. Like I remember one time my mom signed me up for camp and I was like, is my dad going? She's like, no, but you are. I was not confident, let me tell you. But I will tell you this, in my story that I'm sharing in my autobiography, in my book that I mentioned earlier, A Repositioned Journey of Greatness, I'm Still Standing. I tell the story from head to toe, from beginning to end, how it took my 9th grade teacher that I mentioned earlier, Sister Marge, to help me see that there was greatness inside of me. And I promised that woman I would pay her back. Oh. And that is one of the reasons why I do what I do. It's called pay it forward. That is greatness. It's not getting all this good stuff for yourself and then going, look at me. Check me out standing next to this beamer on social media. No. It's in the quiet, still moments that you give your life away that greatness is shining. And I promised her I'd do that as a result of her doing that for me. So no, girl, wasn't always like this.
Well, that's obviously for people who don't feel that way as well. But yeah, so, well, and then, you went through a lot physically and had to come through that. And so, what skills and tools and things did you use and learn in that process?
That is an amazing question, because sometimes people think once you got it together, you always have it together. No, let me tell you something. Linda, listen, okay. We fall down, but the key is getting back up. And sometimes we don't fall down, we get knocked down. Sometimes we get the life punched out of us. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was living out of my greatness, helping someone out, and out of nowhere, out of an instant blink of an eye, no warning, my life changed. I couldn't open my mouth and talk. I couldn't put my feet on the ground and walk. I couldn't think for myself. I couldn't do nothing for myself. In an instant, my life changed. And if I could show you a picture of that car, you would be like, you survived? And I give God all the glory, because I wouldn't be here without him. And let me tell you something. It hit me hard. It not only attacked my feet, my legs, my brain. I got scars in the back of my head. Let me tell you something. It attacked my confidence. Can you imagine traveling the world, speaking, sharing, encouraging, inspiring, and then having to write something down on a piece of paper, helping somebody understand the 3 words you just wrote and what you wanted? Could you imagine to get to the bathroom, having a scoop on your booty, to get there because they haven't gotten a wheelchair for you yet.
Yeah.
That does something to your confidence. But here's what I learned long time ago. And it's the very lesson I want to share with women in particular to help them be resilient. You're not your circumstances. And I learned that a long time ago. I'm not that accident. That accident is a part of my story for me to give God glory and to help women get back up so that they can remember they don't have to live where they're dying and they don't have to die where they're living.
Beautiful, RJ. Yeah, really inspiring. So, yeah, these are tough lessons to learn. Are you, what would be some of obviously you went from that point where you'd lost your confidence to getting it back. And so what were some of the things that you did, or who helped you, or did you just help yourself?
I was laying in bed one day and I couldn't do much of anything. I didn't feel like doing much of anything, but I decided to get on the computer. And there was this new social media platform. I don't even remember how I found it, honestly, but it was called Periscope. And I got on, I said, let me check it out. And I just had this courageous, I want to say crazy, that's how come I mixed the two of them together, right? But courageous idea, RJ, get on. Like, you don't lost your mind, girl. You can't even talk. How you gonna get on? Like, what are you gonna do? But the next day, I got on. Wow. And there was typing that you could do too. And I told people, I said, I'm recovered from an accident. I came on to help get my vocabulary back, to practice talking. And people were like, oh, you're so courageous. Let's talk. And they just started talking to me. And I just started talking. And when I couldn't figure out the word, they would tell me what the word they thought I was trying to say. I still have that going on today, but that was amazing. Like, RJ, are you trying to say this? Is this the word you're looking for? And I built a community that was like out of this world. Wow. And it really helped me get my confidence back up because someone else believed in me when I could not believe in myself.
I love that. And that brings up an interesting point too, because as much as we talk about you must believe in yourself, well, where do the other people come in? When is it okay for somebody else to believe in you and for that to, boost you back into your own self-belief? I always find that interesting because we can believe in ourselves to a point, but it does help when you engage others in that process.
I'm there right now. Michelle, if you didn't believe in me, you wouldn't have me on your show right now. But because you did believe in me and you do have me here, guess what? This is taking me up another level. And the higher I go, the more I can bring people with me. The more I can remind them, look, I couldn't talk a couple of years ago. Look at me now on this show. Not that I'm all that, because I'm not. And even if I were all that in a bag of chips, nothing without the dip, right? However, it's people like you who believe in people like me who give us a chance. When other people say, no, girl, you stuttering over your words, or you can't think of the word, you get it together first, and then let's try it. And let me say this, I had the greatest parents ever. I know many of you thought you did, but that's because you didn't have my parents. I had the world's greatest parents, and nobody believed in me like my parents believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. I wouldn't be here today had they not believed in me. I remember one day my mom said to me, girl, you need to be on Oprah. I was like, Mom, please. And this was early on, right? I was like, Mom, please. I don't need to be on the Oprah. I'm not good enough for that yet. Like, she said, no, I'm serious. You need to be on Oprah. And if you want to be on there, I'll call Carol and we'll get you on. And I was like, Nick. Had I only knew what Mama knew.
Well, as a mom, that's
right.
Like, believing in your children is going to make a difference. So yeah, that's great. Really great. So tell me a little about how you empower other women. I mean, I think it's empowering just to listen to you, but what else do you do with people to help?
I just be myself. I do two things, I believe, for women. Number one is I am a breath of fresh air in their circumstances in their life. Through my life and my integrity, my authenticity, my journey of overcoming, which is not just the accident, that's just one thing. But through all of that, people see that I got back up and they feel, hey, I can get back up too. And so what I do with my time and my day and my passion is I walk with them, I journey with them, I help them decide, first of all, they want to get back up.
Yeah, so important. I was just thinking that because it's one thing to, pull yourself back up like you have over and over, but what about when you really just are like, I don't care, I'm done. So that's where
and the truth is, most people care. What happens is when they get to that moment where they feel they don't care, what they're really saying is no one else cares, so why should I? So I'm the one to say, oh no, girl, especially my sisters, you got that wrong. I do care. I am rooting for you. And when I say it, it's not just some words. I really mean it. Because when my sisters fail, when they're down, they pulling me down. But when they feel good, they're lifting me up, their children up, their husband. Oh yeah, they lifting their man up. See, they think, women, we think it's the opposite around. Well, he should be doing, no, girl, no. You lift him up, but you got to feel good about yourself first. So it's a win, 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 win for everybody. When women feel good, but when women don't feel good, we all lose.
Sure. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you're there for them. You believe in them and you let them know that, there is a reason for them to get back up. And that's because somebody like you is expecting and wanting that for them and you care. And then what else? What else can you do for them to move them through?
Thank you. I give them the tools they need to, number one, eliminate their excuses. Because in life, we can have excuses or we can have success, but we cannot have both. We got to make that choice. And many of us, we're comfortable with holding on to our excuses. So I help them get uncomfortable with being comfortable. Or I help them get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I help them make that shift. I give them the tools they need in order to choose success so that they can write their goals, execute their plan, and elevate their life. Seriously, who doesn't want to be happy?
Yeah, that's right.
Who doesn't want to have healthy, whole relationships?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting with all the marketing out there about, make this much money or improve your relationship or all of the things. It really just boils down to happiness. I mean, that's ultimately what the hope and dream is from doing any of those things. So you're right. You look at it directly for what it is, which is being happy. Yeah.
And when you're happy, your greatness shines. And when your greatness shines, it blinds out fear. It blinds out shame. It blinds out doubt. So we need it to shine.
Yeah, beautiful. And, you call yourself the courage giver, or you've been named that. I'm not sure. I just know you. What does that mean? Where does the courage come in and how do you give that to people?
So I think I hear you asking, what is the courage giver and how do I give that to people?
Okay. Did that name come? I mean, obviously you are helping women and people be more courageous in their lives. And how do you see that? How do you see that happening for them? How do they find their courage, use their courage? What is that about?
That's a great question. And the truth is we say things like find your courage, but it's not lost. Honestly, I mean, seriously, we say that's just terminology, but the truth is courage isn't lost. It's inside of you. Greatness doesn't have to be found. It's inside of you. And so as the courage giver, I simply help move the stuff out the way so you can see it, be it, live it.
Okay.
Courageous, confident, greatness, because it's there. It's just covered up by your experiences, your hurt, your rejections, your divorce, your seemingly lack of money, your girlfriend never calling you, you always having to call her. It's hidden under all that stuff that we've created this story around that has become our own truth. That's a lie anyhow, right? So I just help you move it and reshift and rewrite the story. I don't help you find anything. It's not lost. Let's just dig deep and get it. And sometimes that's really scary to do by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not only scary, it's difficult. You don't really know.
Yeah.
You're waiting for you're digging, but you could be digging in the wrong place. So
yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. And so when people start finding their courage, what kinds of things do you see when you are working with people and they start to find their greatness and find their courage and do things differently?
I hear things and see things like the shift from like, oh, that man just like get on my nerves. Like, I wish my husband pick up his own drawers to, I love my husband. I don't mind serving him or helping him or supporting him. And yeah, you're right, RJ. Men's DNA say they are wired for respect. And I never knew that. Or I hear people say things like this morning when I did my time optimization challenge online, I hear people say, I never looked at time as a process. Maybe that's why I want everything now. And instead of being patient and waiting and working through it, I see women hold their head up. I see healthy families come into existence. I could go on and on and on. I see women open businesses that they've been wanting to do, write books that's in their heart and they've been afraid to write, get on podcasts, love their children, even when they're not doing the things they want them to do, but they accept them for who they are now because they have the courage to say, that's them. That doesn't really define me. I've given them the best that I could give them. I've taught them values. They chose another way. That's them. I'm free of that. And to see women get free and accept themselves for who they are, stop dieting and just embrace who they are. Yeah. Give the size 8 dress away and realize, no, girl, I'm in the 12 and I'm rocking it. That's what I see.
That's great.
That's what I love to see.
Well, you made me think of something interesting, which is that when you step into your greatness, you can start to see others' greatness, like your children, for example. If you're not yours, then you're trying to crack down with the same kind of rules that you've been subjected to, which has caused you to not find your greatness. So really, I mean, again, from a parenting standpoint, you want to be in your greatness so you can allow your children and others to be in their greatness. Important. But if you don't do that work with somebody like you may not get there. So
absolutely. We hear it and we say it all the time, put your mask on first, but we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because when you put your mask on first, you can see and feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. And when you do better, you treat people better. And when you treat people better, they treat people better. Oh, what a wonderful world this would be.
True, though. I mean, it's so simple and so powerful and everywhere. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And isn't this the perfect time to recognize what we're talking about? Like with everything going on, this is life. Life didn't really shift. This is life. We never know at what moment. If you had told me I was going to be in this position like 5 years ago, I would have been like, no, right? We don't know what the next day looks like. So this is life. The question is, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do? Are you going to sit there and whine and cry and woe is me? Or are you going to make the most of it? And sometimes you don't know how to make the most of it. So you need coaches. You need accountability partners. You need people. You need to get on Zoom in groups and see what people are doing and what you can learn. It's vital right now. Yeah. If we come out of COVID different, then it's been worth it. But if we come out the same, maybe we need to go back in. I'm just saying.
gosh, you and I did talk about this before, but I could not feel more in alignment with that. I said that from the very beginning because I was rushing around too much. My life was really crazy before COVID, and I knew it, but I wasn't doing anything about it. I was just kind of putting up with it because, you know, I love my life, but I was too busy and I was trying to do too many things and I was driving too much, all kinds of things. And that stop that I had, and I had to rework things. And yeah, I felt the same way. Like everybody's talking about getting back to normal, and that is, I will not go back to what I was doing before. I will continue to move forward. And I think for the world, that's been my prayer the whole time, that please let us be different after this, not just go back. So
ain't nobody going back. It's over. It's going to be different, and we have to accept that and embrace that and live out of our greatness in that. We may go back to doing some things, but it's never going back. We weren't born to go back. And I'm just telling you this little quick story in the Bible. God told God told Lot and his wife, keep going, don't look back. She said, oh, what happened? Boom, just like that. She is gone. Don't look back.
Yeah. That's great advice. Absolutely. Yeah, because we can get caught up in that. And sometimes we look back and then we start questioning everything all over again, and we fall right back into where we were because we don't know better, as you said before.
Right.
So, yeah, and this didn't give us choice. So we couldn't do anything but, you know, just go with the flow here. So, yeah, this is so great. And so tell me, just, you brought up time optimization. What exactly is that
Okay, I'm feeling you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So each month I have a community of women, and it's always open and people are welcome to join us. We do a challenge every month, the first 7 days. And so this month our challenge is time optimization. And why we say time optimization is because I believe we can't manage time. We all have it. We choose what to do with it. And so each day I give 11 hacks. So we get about 77 hacks on small things we could do to make a big difference. Check this out. Not to save time, because we can't save it for tomorrow, right? But to use our time wisely. And so we come together, we hold each other accountable, we encourage each other, we build community, we laugh together, we cry together. It's a safe place to gather. And so we come together every month to remind women just like us, you got this, girl. You got this.
Nice. That's beautiful. So every month is a different challenge, this month's time. And then I love that. How do people find out about that?
They can always visit us at asafeplacetogather.com. That's asafeplacetogather.com.
That's great. Yeah, very nice. I love that. And so that's one way that you're working with women. Is that the main focus right now?
That's for community, because I believe women in this position that we're in, we need community. We are home with our kids all day, our man, like we love them, but dude, go play basketball. Oh, you can't. Okay, so I need to get away. Calgon, take me away. And since we can't find Calgon, RJ is available, and you can connect with me one-on-one. I'll journey with you individually, intimately, intentionally. Or you can join us as a group. We also have group coaching, one-on-one coaching, group coaching. Also, maybe you have a group that you want to invite me to come and speak. That's my heartbeat right there. Speaking, sharing, inspiring, encouraging you to live out of your greatness. Let's do that. Or you can come join our community where we all are talking and learning and growing, because healthy things grow.
That's fantastic.
That's what I believe.
I love it. That's beautiful. And I think I can't imagine that anybody would benefit from that. There's such a need. And you're right, community is so important. And that was another discovery that we had during COVID. And I don't think, we want to stop paying attention to that. That's a huge, huge help for people. How about your book? When is that? Any time that that's due to come out, or is it still too early to ask that question?
Never too early, never. Okay, so sometimes people hear me talk or they hear people like you talk and they think, oh, she got it all together. Girl, please. Who has it all together? Nobody, right? Even the coach needs a coach. Okay, so to answer your question, I'm working on it and it's coming out soon. I'm working on it. It was supposed to be out a year ago, but I'm working on it. I have not quit. And that's what I want to encourage every listener right now. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but don't quit. It'll happen at the right time if you don't quit. And remember this, quitters never win and winners never quit. Did you hear me? Quitters never win and winners never quit. And you're a winner. There's greatness inside of you. So get up and finish what you started.
Perfect. What a perfect to that was great. And you're right. You don't actually know. You might have the greatest idea and the greatest project, and it can sit on the back burner for a little while. We, those of us who've been around a long time, we know that. But there'll come a time when it's right, and all of a sudden, and so it's important not to beat yourself up about that, because
yeah, absolutely. The world is beating you up enough. Why would you jump in the fight? Okay, like the world got his hands full with you. Don't you jump in the fight and start beating your own self up. Fight back. Get up. Face your fears. Recognize who you are. Don't jump in the fight. Fight back.
Yeah. RJ, thank you so much. And for those listening, connect with RJ at asafeplacetogather.com and see how she can help you step into your greatness. I think you can just hear from the conversation that she is powerful, not only in her message, but I can feel the energy. I know that, being around you and learning from you will push people into their greatness. So thank you for the stories and the inspiration and the tips and advice. And again, I reach out to RJ at asafeplacetogather.com. I'll put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here. It was really a pleasure, and I'm honored that you joined me here today.
Thank you so much for having me. And if I may just extend an invitation to your listeners, they can also connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, at The Courage Giver. And my official website is thecouragegiver.com. That's thecouragegiver.com. I'd love to connect with you, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about me shining my greatness so that you can live. So you won't have to live where you're dying, and you won't have to die where you're living. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure and a wonderful conversation.
Thank you. I so enjoyed it, and I'm inspired. So I know anyone listening is as well. So thank you, listeners. Thank you for joining us here at the Limit Free Life Show, Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Thank you, ubngo.com, for broadcasting the show. And you can reach me at michelle@limitfreelife.com. You can go on Limit Free Life and sign up for some free weekly wisdom. There's an opt-in on my homepage of my website. You can join me there, and then you'll learn more things more of what's going on at Limit Free Life and how we can help you. So thank you for listening. See you next week, and step into your greatness between now and then.
Hello.